Adam Clark rubbed his tired eyes and stared at the computer screen again. The numbers couldn't be right. He had checked them 3 times already. "Olivia, can you look at this?" He called to his colleague across the lab. Olivia Martinez pushed away from her desk and rolled her chair over to Adam's workstation. Her dark hair was tied back in a messy ponytail, and empty coffee cups littered her desk. "What am I looking at?" she asked, leaning forward to see his screen. "Seismic readings from the moon. They started showing up last night, and they're getting stronger." Olivia frowned. "That's not possible. The moon isn't geologically active." "I know. That's why I've been double-checking everything." Adam pointed at the steadily climbing graph. "Something is happening inside the moon's core. It's like it's waking up." Olivia took control of the keyboard and ran a diagnostic check on their equipment. Everything was working correctly. She pulled up historical data from the lunar monitoring stations and compared it with the current readings. "This has never happened before," she whispered. "We need to tell Powell." 20 minutes later, they stood in Director Ethan Powell's office, explaining their findings. Powell was a tall man with graying hair who had worked at NASA for 30 years. He listened with growing skepticism. "So you're telling me the moon is suddenly active after billions of years of being dead rock?" Powell shook his head. "Run your tests again. Check your equipment. This has to be an error." "We've already done that," Adam insisted. 3 times. "The readings are real." Powell sighed. "Clark, I've got the Pentagon and the White House breathing down my neck about budget cuts. I can't go to them with some crazy story about the moon waking up without solid proof." As if on cue, Powell's phone rang. He answered it, his expression changing from annoyance to concern. "We'll be right there," he said, hanging up. "The observatory is picking up energy signatures from the lunar surface. Big ones." The 3 rushed to the main control room, where dozens of scientists were gathered around screens displaying the moon. Bright blue energy pulses were visibly rippling across its surface. "It started 10 minutes ago," explained Dr. Lee, the head astronomer. "The energy readings are off the charts. Nothing in our database matches this signature." Adam leaned closer to one of the screens. "The pulses are following a pattern. That's not random geological activity." Powell's face had gone pale. "Get me secure lines to the President and the Joint Chiefs now." As NASA scrambled to understand what was happening to the moon, strange reports began coming in from around the world. People everywhere were having unusual dreams, vivid visions of stars, ancient civilizations, and cosmic connections. Social media was flooded with millions sharing similar experiences. In his small apartment that night, Adam tossed and turned in his sleep. In his dream, he stood on the moon's surface, but it wasn't barren. Crystal spires rose from the ground, glowing with inner light. A voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere spoke to him. "The awakening has begun. You have always been more than you know." He woke with a start, his heart pounding. His phone was ringing. Olivia calling at 3 a.m. "Did you dream it too?" she asked without preamble. "The crystal city on the moon," Adam replied, his mouth dry. "Yes, Adam. I think the moon is trying to communicate with us." On his bedside table, Adam's watch, phone, and lamp began to float, hovering an inch above the surface. He stared, not comprehending what he was seeing. "Olivia," he said slowly, "something very strange is happening." Miles away at NASA headquarters, alarms were sounding as massive energy waves began pulsing from the moon toward Earth. The waves weren't harmful. They passed through matter like it wasn't there, but they were changing something fundamental about the world. Humanity's long sleep was ending. The moon had awakened, and with it, powers that had lain dormant in human DNA for millennia were beginning to stir. 1 week after the first energy pulses, the world watched in shock as the moon's surface began to crack. The cracks formed perfect geometric patterns, Straight lines, circles, and triangles that couldn't possibly be natural. News channels showed nothing else. Religious leaders claimed it was the end times. Scientists had no answers. In her office at NASA, Olivia stared at the latest satellite images. These patterns, they're like circuits or writing. Adam nodded, his eyes red from lack of sleep. And look at this energy signature. It's getting stronger, more organized. Their work was interrupted when Director Powell burst into the room. We've got a situation. Multiple objects just appeared at the edge of our solar system. Objects? Adam asked. You mean asteroids? No. Powell's face was grim. Ships. Large ones. They're moving toward Earth. The news spread quickly despite government attempts to prevent panic. An alien fleet was approaching, and humanity had no way to defend itself. Captain Lisa Wright stood on the bridge of the VSS Discovery, Earth's most advanced spacecraft. It had been rushed into service when the aliens were detected. The ship wasn't ready for deep space, but it was all they had. Status report, she ordered, her voice steady despite her fear. Sam Bennett, her tactical officer, looked up from his console. The main fleet is holding position near Mars, but one smaller vessel has broken formation and is heading straight for us. Weapons ready? Lisa asked. Yes, Captain. But based on their energy readings, our weapons would be like throwing rocks at a tank. Diana Coleman, the ship's xenolinguist, spoke up. Captain, we're receiving a transmission. I think they're trying to communicate. Put it through, Lisa ordered. A voice filled the bridge, speaking perfect English. Attention, Earth vessel. We are representatives of the Valorian Ascendancy. The beacon has awakened. The trial begins. Prepare to receive our envoy. Lisa exchanged glances with her crew. Respond. Tell them we accept their envoy, but will defend ourselves if threatened. The alien ship slowed as it approached. It was sleek and silver, with glowing blue lines that reminded Lisa of the patterns now covering the moon. They're requesting docking procedures, Sam reported. Send them to Docking Bay 3. Security teams on full alert, Lisa ordered. 30 minutes later, Lisa stood in the docking bay with Sam and Diana as the airlock opened. 3 tall beings stepped through. They had pale blue skin, no hair, and eyes with vertical pupils. Their bodies were covered in fitted armor that seemed to glow from within. The tallest alien stepped forward. I am Commander Zex Terrell of the Valorian Ascendancy. Your moon has activated the beacon, announcing your species' readiness for evaluation. Evaluation? Lisa asked. We didn't activate anything. Zex Terrell made a gesture that might have been a shrug. The beacon activates when a species reaches a certain technological threshold. It was placed in your moon millions of years ago by the precursors. Diana stepped forward. Who are the precursors? The ones who came before. They seeded the galaxy with life and left the beacons to identify worthy successors. And what happens during this evaluation? Lisa asked, not liking where this was going. Species that pass become galactic citizens with all rights and protections. Those who fail, Zex Terrell paused. Those who fail are deemed unworthy and subject to containment. Sam's hand moved closer to his weapon. Containment. Your species has one planetary rotation cycle to prepare. The trial will begin, and your worthiness will be judged. Back on Earth, as government leaders were briefed about the alien ultimatum, more strange events were occurring. In homes, offices, and streets, ordinary people were discovering they could do extraordinary things. A teacher in Boston found she could move objects with her mind. A farmer in Kansas suddenly understood the language of birds. A doctor in Egypt could see inside his patients without equipment. The moon continued to pulse with energy, brighter now. And with each pulse, more humans awakened to abilities they never knew they had. Captain Lisa Wright stood in the White House Situation Room, facing the most powerful people in the world. The president, military leaders, and top scientists listened as she described her meeting with the Valorians. They say the moon is some kind of ancient testing device, Lisa explained. When civilizations reach a certain level of development, it activates to announce they're ready for testing. Testing for what? The president asked. To see if we deserve to join some kind of galactic community. Those who fail are contained. They wouldn't explain what that means, but it didn't sound good. The room erupted in angry voices. The Secretary of Defense slammed his fist on the table. We didn't ask for this test. They can't just show up and decide our fate. I said the same thing, Lisa replied. Commander Zex Terrell said it doesn't matter what we want. The beacon has activated, and the test must happen. We have 1 week to prepare. Adam and Olivia were brought into the meeting next. They had been studying the moon's emissions nonstop. The energy pulses from the moon are affecting human DNA, Olivia explained, showing slides on a large screen. We don't understand how, but the changes seem targeted, like they're turning on parts of our genetic code that were always there but dormant. Adam stepped forward. We think the moon, or whoever built this beacon, has been preparing humanity for this moment for millions of years. These abilities people are developing aren't random mutations. They're designed. In another part of the world, Henry Wilson sat in his college dorm room, staring at the pencil floating above his hand. Ever since the strange dream 3 days ago, he had been able to manipulate gravity around small objects. At first, he thought he was going crazy, but then he saw the news about others developing similar abilities. His roommate walked in and dropped his backpack in shock. Dude, are you doing that? Henry let the pencil fall into his palm. Yeah. Weird, right? You're one of those awakened people on the news. His roommate pulled out his phone. We should tell someone. No. Henry grabbed the phone. I don't want to be a lab rat or a weapon. I need time to figure this out. Across the country, Nurse Kate Rodriguez discovered her new ability during a car accident. She had been driving home from her hospital shift when she saw the crash. Without thinking, she ran to help, placing her hands on a bleeding man. The warm glow that spread from her fingertips surprised her as much as it did the victim. His wounds closed before her eyes. Now she sat in a secret government facility, demonstrating her healing powers to military officials. Can you heal any injury? General Frank Morris asked, watching as Kate healed a cut on a volunteer's arm. I don't know my limits yet, Kate admitted, but it drains me. The bigger the injury, the more energy it takes. The general nodded to his aide, who made notes. We need to know exactly what you can do before the aliens return. On the VSS Discovery, now orbiting Earth as humanity's first line of defense, Diana Coleman studied the language and technology data the Valorians had shared. She found something interesting in the historical records. Captain, she called to Lisa, according to this, 3 other species have faced the trial in the last 1,000 years. Only one passed. What happened to the others? Lisa asked. Diana's face was grim. Their home planets are listed as protected reservations. It looks like failed species are confined to their planets, unable to develop space travel or join the wider galaxy. So if we fail, we're prisoners on Earth forever, Lisa said quietly. Yes, but there's something else. Diana pointed to a section of data. The Valorians weren't always the ones administering the tests. They passed their own trial just 200 years ago. Before that, a different species was in charge. So they're newcomers themselves, Lisa mused. That might be useful to know. As the day for the trial approached, more awakened humans appeared worldwide. Some used their new abilities to help others. Some sought power. And some, fearing what they had become, tried to hide. The moon grew brighter each night, its patterns glowing like a complex machine coming to life after ages of sleep. 3 days before the trial, Adam and Olivia were taken to a secret underground base in the Nevada desert. The facility was filled with scientists, military personnel, and dozens of awakened humans being tested and trained. General Morris met them at the entrance. Welcome to Project Awakening. We've gathered the most promising cases here. They walked through rooms where people practiced using their new abilities. In one room, a young man created small flames with his fingertips. In another, a woman communicated telepathically with researchers. "How many awakened people have you found?" Adam asked. "Over 5,000 confirmed worldwide," the general replied. "New cases every hour. But other countries aren't sharing information. Russia, China, India. They're all running their own programs." Olivia frowned. "This isn't a national issue. It's a human issue. We should be working together." The general's face hardened. "Try telling that to the president of Russia, who just announced their special gifted citizens will be the backbone of their new defense force." Later that day, Adam and Olivia were introduced to Henry Wilson, who had finally come forward with his gravity manipulation abilities. He demonstrated by making a steel ball orbit around his head. "I can affect objects within about 20 feet of me," Henry explained. "The heavier they are, the harder it is." To demonstrate, he lifted a chair with his mind, then a desk, struggling with the latter. "Have you tried working with other awakened people?" Adam asked. "We have theories that your abilities might strengthen when combined." Before Henry could answer, alarms blared throughout the facility. General Morris rushed into the room. "We've got a situation. Turn on the news." On a large screen, they watched as Michelle Young, a popular news reporter, stood outside a hospital in Phoenix. Behind her, Kate Rodriguez was touching injured people, healing them instantly while cameras recorded everything. "As you can see, Kate Rodriguez is demonstrating remarkable healing abilities," Michelle reported. "She's one of thousands worldwide developing extraordinary powers since the Moon anomaly began. Despite government attempts to keep these individuals secret, more are coming forward every day." The general swore under his breath. "This complicates things." "No," Olivia said firmly. "This is exactly what we need. Transparency. Hope. People need to see that these abilities can help humanity." Michelle continued her report. "I've spent the last 2 days interviewing awakened individuals across the country. Many are scared, hiding their abilities for fear of being taken by government agencies. But others, like Kate, are using their gifts to help." The camera panned to show a child with a broken arm. Kate placed her hands on the cast, which glowed softly. When the cast was removed, the arm was completely healed. "With the alien trial approaching, perhaps these awakened humans represent our best hope," Michelle concluded. That evening, similar reports appeared on news channels worldwide. In Brazil, a man with enhanced strength rescued people from a collapsed building. In Japan, a woman who could purify water cleaned a polluted river in minutes. In Egypt, a farmer made crops grow at incredible speeds. The VSS Discovery remained in orbit, monitoring the Valorian fleet still holding position near Mars. Captain Lisa was reviewing security footage when Diana burst onto the bridge. "Captain, I've decoded more of the Valorian database," she said excitedly. "The trial isn't just a test of military strength. Previous species were judged on multiple criteria, including how they handled the awakening of their potential." "You mean the abilities people are developing? That's part of the test?" Lisa asked. "Yes, and more importantly, how we respond as a society." Diana handed Lisa a tablet. "Species that turned on each other, using the awakened as weapons or treating them as threats, always failed. The one success story showed a species that integrated their awakened population and worked together." Lisa looked out the viewport at Earth below. "So unity is the key. But how do we achieve that with only 2 days left when countries are competing instead of cooperating?" Sam Bennett, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. "We need to show the world what's really at stake. And I think that reporter Michelle Young just gave us an idea for how to do it." Michelle Young stood in front of the White House with cameras broadcasting to every corner of the Earth. Behind her were 20 awakened individuals from different countries, a visible symbol of human unity. "Today I'm joined by awakened people from around the world," Michelle said into the camera. "They've come together despite their governments telling them not to. They believe humanity must stand together to face the coming trial. The broadcast showed clips of awakened humans using their abilities to help others, stopping natural disasters, healing the sick, growing food in barren areas. Then it cut back to Michelle. While our leaders argue about who should control these new powers, the clock is ticking. The Valorians will return tomorrow. We're asking all nations to join the United Front, a cooperative effort to face this challenge together. The United Front had been Captain Lisa Wright's idea, carried out by Michelle with help from Sam and Diana. They had smuggled awakened people out of various government facilities and brought them together in secret. Inside the White House, the president watched the broadcast with his advisors. General Morris was furious. "They stole our assets," he shouted. "Those awakened individuals were critical to our defense plan. Your plan was to use them as weapons." Adam said. He and Olivia had been called to the emergency meeting. "The Valorians will see that as a failure. We need to show we can use these abilities for the good of all humanity." The president rubbed his temples. The Chinese president just called. So did the Russian leader. Everyone's watching this broadcast. They're all waiting to see what we do. After a long moment, he stood up. "Get me on that broadcast. If this united front is happening, the United States will lead it." Within hours, other world leaders made similar announcements. The United Nations convened an emergency session and established the Human Defense Initiative, combining conventional military forces with awakened individuals in an international coalition. At the secret Nevada facility, now the headquarters for the initiative, Henry Wilson trained with others who had similar abilities. They discovered that working together, they could amplify each other's powers. "Try again," said his instructor, a former Olympic athlete who could now move at incredible speeds. "Focus on combining your gravity field with Lewis's force field." Henry and Lewis, a firefighter from Mexico who could generate protective barriers, stood back to back. They had been practicing for hours. This time, as they focused, their powers merged. A shimmering bubble formed around them, then expanded outward, making everything in the room weightless while keeping it all contained. Their instructor smiled. "That's what we need. Teamwork." On the VSS Discovery, now retrofitted with technology based on the moon's energy, Captain Lisa prepared for her most important mission. The ship would lead Earth's defense when the Valorians returned. "Engine status," she asked as crew members rushed around the bridge. "New moon core drives at 80% and climbing," Sam replied. "They're more powerful than anything we've ever had, but stable." Diana entered the bridge with Adam and Olivia, who had been brought aboard as advisors. "The communication system is ready. We'll be able to coordinate with all awakened individuals on Earth." Olivia looked at the main screen showing the moon, now glowing so brightly it outshone the stars around it. "The energy patterns have changed again. It's almost like it's responding to our preparations." Adam nodded. "I think it is. My theory is that the moon isn't just testing us, it's helping us. These abilities, this technology, they were always meant for humanity. We just needed the right push to discover them." As dawn broke around the world on the day of the trial, millions watched the skies. The Valorian fleet moved from Mars toward Earth, their ships forming a pattern that mirrored the designs now covering the moon's surface. In homes, hospitals, and streets across the planet, awakened humans felt a surge of power as the moon reached its brightest point yet. The time had come for humanity to prove its worth. The Valorian fleet entered Earth orbit at exactly noon GMT. 50 massive ships, each larger than the biggest human aircraft carrier, formed a ring around the planet. A single command ship moved into position directly above the United Nations building in New York. Commander Zexteral's face appeared on screens worldwide. "People of Earth, the trial begins now. You will face our warriors in combat. You will answer our questions of knowledge. You will demonstrate your worthiness as a species. Failure in any area means containment." On the VSS Discovery, Captain Lisa Wright received orders to approach the Valorian command ship. Her crew was tense but ready. "Weapons online," Sam reported. "But their shields are unlike anything we've seen. Our normal weapons won't make a dent." "We're not here to fight yet," Lisa reminded him. "First, we talk." The Discovery positioned itself in front of the massive alien vessel. Lisa opened a channel. "Commander Zex Terrell, we request clarification on the trial parameters." The alien's face appeared on screen. "There are no parameters, human. The trial is survival. Prove you deserve to exist among the stars." Without warning, smaller Valorian ships launched from the fleet. They descended toward major cities around the world. "They're attacking," Sam shouted, watching the tactical display. Lisa made a quick decision. Engage moon core drives. Intercept any ships heading for populated areas. The Discovery shot forward with impossible speed, its new engines glowing with blue energy similar to the moon's. It positioned itself between a group of Valorian attackers in New York City. On Earth, the Human Defense Initiative activated. Military forces scrambled jets and missiles, while awakened humans took positions in cities worldwide. In Nevada, Henry Wilson and his team created gravity shields around key infrastructure. In Phoenix, Kate Rodriguez and other healers prepared field hospitals. And in orbit, the space agencies of 7 countries launched their own ships, newly equipped with moon tech. The first wave of Valorian attackers fired energy weapons at Earth's defenses. Most human technology failed against their advanced shields. "Regular weapons aren't working," General Morris shouted into his comm. "Awakened teams, you're up." Naval officer Jack Peters, who had developed telepathic abilities, sat in a special chamber at the initiative headquarters. Through him, awakened humans worldwide could coordinate their efforts. He closed his eyes and connected with thousands of minds. "Everyone, focus your abilities together on my mark," he sent to them all. 3, 2, 1 now. Across the globe, awakened humans released their powers simultaneously. Force fields sprang up around cities. Telepaths disrupted Valorian communications. Energy manipulators absorbed weapon blasts and redirected them. On the Discovery, Diana noticed something strange. "Captain, look at the moon." The moon was pulsing faster now, sending waves of energy toward Earth. As each wave hit, the awakened humans' abilities grew stronger. "It's amplifying them," Adam said, watching from the science station. "Just like we theorized." Lisa saw an opening and took it. "All ships, focus fire on the lead Valorian vessel. Target the spot where their shield emissions are weakest." The Discovery, joined by Earth's small fleet, fired everything they had. Their combined weapons, enhanced by the moon's energy, pierced the alien shield. The Valorian ship listed to one side, damaged but not destroyed. On Earth, Olivia made a breakthrough while analyzing Valorian communications. "They're not trying to destroy us," she told the initiative leaders. "This is a test of our responses. They're pushing us to see how we react under pressure." In New York, Michelle Young broadcast this revelation worldwide. "The Valorians aren't our enemies," she told viewers. "They're testing not just our strength, but our character. How we fight this battle matters as much as whether we win." Lieutenant Ryan Cooper, piloting a fighter near the Discovery, suddenly felt a connection to his ship unlike anything before. As a new wave of energy washed over him from the moon, he knew exactly what to do. "Captain Wright," he called to the Discovery, "I think I've found their real weakness, but we'll need to change our approach entirely." Lieutenant Ryan Cooper's fighter glowed with blue energy as he flew between the Valorian ships. The moon's power had awakened something in him that let him sense the patterns in the alien fleet's movements. "They're testing our cooperation, not our weapons," Ryan explained to Captain Lisa over the comm. "Their ships are forming a complex pattern. It's like a puzzle we need to solve, not an enemy we need to defeat." On the Discovery, Diana quickly analyzed the pattern. "He's right. The Valorian ships are positioned exactly like the markings on the moon. They're waiting for us to complete the pattern." Lisa made a bold decision. "All Earth ships, hold your fire. Follow the Discovery's lead." She ordered her ship to take position at a specific point in the formation. Other human vessels followed, filling in gaps in the Valorian pattern. As the last ship moved into place, energy surged between all vessels, human and Valorian alike. Commander Zexteral's face appeared on the Discovery screen, but his expression had changed. He looked almost impressed. "The first phase is complete," he announced. "You have demonstrated tactical understanding. Now for the final test." The Valorian ships withdrew, gathering above the moon. Then they fired their weapons directly at the lunar surface. The moon's glow dimmed briefly before flaring back, stronger than ever. On Earth, awakened humans felt a powerful surge. Their abilities instantly grew tenfold. Henry could now control gravity across entire cities. Kate could heal hundreds with a single thought. Jack's telepathy reached every awakened mind on the planet. Adam watched readings from the moon with amazement. "It's fully activating. The energy signature is off the charts." Olivia pointed to another reading. "Look at human brain activity worldwide. Everyone is being affected now, not just the previously awakened." Across the planet, ordinary people began experiencing new abilities. Not as strong as the first awakened, but significant. A global consciousness formed as billions of minds touched each other through the moon's power. The Valorian fleet suddenly faced not just Earth's military, but a unified human consciousness wielding powers beyond anything they expected. Lisa received a strange message in her mind. It wasn't from Jack or any human telepath. It seemed to come from the moon itself. "Show them who we truly are," the message said. Understanding instantly, Lisa opened all channels. "This isn't about fighting. It's about showing our true potential. Everyone, focus on rebuilding what was damaged. Show them humanity's heart." Around the world, awakened humans turned their powers toward healing and creation. Destroyed buildings were reassembled. Injured people were healed. Even environmental damage from years of pollution began to reverse as people channeled the moon's energy. The Valorian fleet held position, observing. Then, unexpectedly, a new ship appeared, larger and more advanced than any Valorian vessel. It glowed with golden light rather than blue. A new face appeared on screens worldwide, a being with features unlike any alien seen before. "I am Ambassador Kellor of the Arcadian Council. The Valorians have served their purpose as the first phase of your trial. We are the true administrators of the precursor legacy." In orbit, on the Discovery's bridge, Lisa, Adam, Diana, and San listened as Ambassador Kellor continued. "Humanity has exceeded all expectations. You faced aggression with measured response. You prioritized protection over retaliation. When given power, you chose to heal rather than harm. The Moon Archive is now fully yours." The moon glowed brighter than ever, its patterns shifting to form new designs. The archive contains knowledge from 1,000 civilizations, technologies beyond your imagining, histories of species long vanished. It has always been here, waiting for humanity to evolve enough to claim it. Adam looked at Olivia with wonder. "We were never alone. The moon was guiding us all along." As the Arcadian ship departed, leaving the now humbled Valorians behind, humanity stood at the threshold of a new era. The moon, fully awakened, continued to pulse with energy. No longer an inert satellite, but a beacon lighting humanity's path to the stars. Their true power unleashed, humans began to explore abilities and knowledge that would transform their civilization forever.